Christina Pelcher, and she is a WVU student who's from Ukraine. She's from the Lviv region. Also, Sergey Yakovenko and Val I'm sorry, I was going to get that right. Val Gritsenko, and both are from Ukraine, and both are from Kharkiv. Val is an associate professor in the WVU School of Medicine. Sergey is also an associate professor at the WVU School of Medicine. So all three of you, good morning. Thank you for coming in. We really appreciate it.
Good morning. Thank you so much for inviting us today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, and Christina, let me start with you because you and I started this dialogue yesterday. And just give me your impressions of what's happening in your home country.
It is truly hard to describe what is happening. We go to sleep, we wake up, and all that we feel is pain, constant pain for our family, for Ukraine. And as we know, on February 24th, Russia cynically invaded Ukraine and started a brutal war. And it's not in one place that they are exploding residential buildings, killing civilians, children, blowing up kindergartens. This is war against humanity. It's not just a war against Ukraine.
Are your parents there?
Yes.
Where are they?
All of my family is in the Lviv region.
Have you heard from them?
Yes.
How are they doing?
They're very brave, and I'm so proud of my family. I'm so proud of my country right now. Even my 17-year-old sister is volunteering and is engaging into community services to help our soldiers, to help people who come from the eastern part of Ukraine.
Yeah. Sergey, pick up from there. What are your initial thoughts?
I just resonate what we're talking. All of us are talking about and feeling at this time. We wake up with and anxiety kicks in as we check on our friends, on our relatives. My parents are in Kharkiv right now, on the outskirts of the city. I was recommending them to move downtown before this started, just in case, because they're old. They decided not to fly out because they have a cat. They have, that little farm, and they thought it was impossible to see something like that. But you know what? The downtown, my little apartment block has just been bombed by Russians, and they're actually safer in their cottage outside of the city. They're hearing bombing. Bombing is actually now daily, twice during the night yesterday. And they're sheltering a family with kids just to save them from these attacks on civilians.
Val, what can you add?
I also have family and friends back in Ukraine.
Oh, hold on. I don't hear you, Val, for some reason. And I'm not sure why that... Oh, wait a minute. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Val. Go ahead now. I'm sorry.
Yes, so my family is in Kropivnitsky, which is in the center of Ukraine, and they've had some bombing also. My uncle and aunt were hiding in the bathtub yesterday. And the day, in Kharkiv, I also have a cousin and my childhood friends. I text with them every morning to see whether they've survived another day. So far, everyone has made it. Everyone's hiding in the basements, and my cousin is working in the medical center.
Mm. Val, this is outrageous because this is an unprovoked attack by Putin on a sovereign nation, and that has to be particularly galling. I mean, this is not that. I don't know how else to describe it. What would you say?
It is horrific. Even though we didn't believe it could happen, this happened over and over to Ukrainians, and Russia has been the aggressor. My grandparents survived Holodomor, which was a famine orchestrated by the Soviet regime, largely under Russian control, and by Stalin, whom Putin personally admires. It's forbidden in Russia to criticize Stalin now, who killed millions of citizens of the whole Soviet Union, but particularly Ukrainians.
Yeah. Sergey, I've heard several times now from you all that you didn't really think it could happen. Is that because you were in denial, or that you had other information like, well, certainly the Russians aren't going to do this, even though it was well documented, the buildup along the border?
You're
Sergey.
exactly right. I mentally, analytically, I knew they're gonna attack, but somehow, the emotional side of you just rejects that opportunity and a possibility, because it's just hard to believe that that kind of travesty could happen.
It is heartbreaking and it is devastating. This war has been on for 8 years now, and it's not just started.
Yeah.
But we did not expect that despite taking those territories of eastern part of Ukraine, Donbass, which has always been the part of Ukraine, always. And Ukrainians are united as never. Here we see Ukrainians from Kharkiv, and they are with Ukraine with all their hearts. Nobody believes in Putin's lies anymore.
So that's very, very much, I think the world knows it's very much a false flag about the rationale for the invasion, that somehow this was to protect Russians who were in Ukraine, and that was a false notion that no one
They
believes.
went against their own narratives of contested Donetsk and Lugansk regions, because they said that only eastern part was to be part of Russia, but they started putting bombs and explosions, airstrikes on all Ukraine, western, central, eastern. There's no explanation, there's no logic, there's no justification for the deaths of peaceful civilians and children going on in our country. And our president yesterday said that the most important job that we have in Ukraine, all of us, is a soldier in Ukraine. Each and everyone is doing best to their abilities. For example, there are even homeless people who are making Molotov cocktails. People with bare hands, they stop tanks. And I'm proud to be Ukrainian today. And I really want our voices to be heard today, because we need your support. We need your hearts, minds, we need your help. How can we help right now?
Val, let me go to you. The world is doing a lot, but in your opinion, is it enough, and could more be done?
I think much more can be done. What we're witnessing is unprecedented in the 21st century. And I think more support, both with medical supplies, other supplies, money, of course, more volunteers. Ukrainian president announced yesterday that they're starting a international brigade. So anyone can come from other countries and volunteer to fight for Ukraine. And definitely putting limits on cutting off all trade with Russia is definitely the way.
Sergey, what do you think?
We need to put all economic pressure we have at our disposal, and then look a little bit some more, find where else we can put pressure, and find those hidden money that they stashed away from their illegal activities, and put pressure on those as well.
Do you think that Russia has an advantage in that they produce all this energy, second largest producer of oil in the world, huge producer of natural gas, and are countries willing to sacrifice that energy to make a stand on behalf of Ukraine?
It's a great question, and exactly the hand that Putin has. And it is sad that we're dependent on these energy supplies, and I think it is a moral choice for all of us whether we're willing to take a little bit of a hike in the price of the gas, but to actually fight for Ukraine by doing so. Because keeping the way things are and allowing Putin to succeed is just participation in his plan.
Mm-hmm. Christina, what do you think additionally could be done?
I absolutely agree with both Sergei and Valeria, and I want to say even more. I want you to hear me, because while we are talking right now, people in Ukraine are defending our motherland, and they're dying. They're dying for freedom. They're dying for all of us. And We are planning to organize another protest demonstration for peace in Ukraine next Monday at 12 p.m. We are asking people to donate clothes for children, to donate clothes and things for our soldiers, for any help that you can provide. We are also listening to the news in Ukraine, and our president yesterday signed a decree allowing foreign volunteers to join Ukrainian armed forces. And we really need your support now. Ukraine needs your support. Europe and the world's fate is decided in Ukraine, and I'm repeating myself because this is the true statement. We need your support. We need everyone to join this protection against aggression, against inhumanity, immorality, against war crimes. Russia will never be forgiven for its war crimes and cruelty.
Sergey, based on what Christina just said, I mean, and I hesitate to lump all of Russia into this, right? I mean, can you separate Russia from Putin, or is it one and the same to you?
We do have opposition in Russia, but it's not all that represented in their political scene, right?
Right,
we
right.
kind of seeing some scenery that is similar to, the view of Hitler in the bunker, where his people are all afraid to speak up. There's obviously a very different dynamic in that government, and they oppress Russian people to the extent that they're afraid to speak up. And this fear spreads not only through Russia. Even people here, I think, are afraid to speak up because of possible repercussions that they will face when they go back home.
Really?
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is one of the important things for us to realize as in this media space, that there's a war and aggression in this space. Mm-hmm. The Russians are actively actually attacked, and then you'd better be with Putin or else.
Mm. Val, when was the last time you got back, and now is the future of you going back? It must be very uncertain.
Yes, last time I went to visit my grandparents and for a conference in Kiev. It was about three years ago, right before COVID. Yeah. We not sure when we're going to come back and can visit. I have an 8-year-old daughter, and I was promising to take her to Ukraine. We're teaching her Ukrainian at home, and she was really looking forward to going to Ukraine last summer. COVID hit, and then we delayed it, and now we don't know if we can take her.
Christina, your folks are still there, your family. When was the last time you were home, and obviously now you can't get home?
I came to the United States on February 3rd. But I would like to say a more important message right now.
All right.
I just want to say to Russian people, please, be like Ukrainians just for a little bit. Because our families, our people are not afraid to die for their nation. They have courage and determination to repel the aggressor. And Russian soldiers are dying in massive numbers. And I'm standing with Ukraine, whatever happens. We know that in the United States they have this castle law. You're coming to our house right now, and you're threatening us. This is a terrorist act, what Russian soldiers do to Ukrainians. And our president today said that we should recognize Russia being a terrorist state, because this is the terror, what is happening to our people right now. So please, don't be afraid. Do not be afraid to go and to protest against immorality, against your government, who are going to attack civilians and kill children.
Sergey, these kind of voices are powerful.
They are, and I'm 100% behind this message.
Val, I mean, you hear it, and she was just in Ukraine a few weeks ago. Her parents are still there, and those, as I said, those voices are powerful.
Yes, absolutely. I'm 100% behind this message. And I hope that the whole world realizes that this is a war between democratic states and totalitarian regimes. And it has spillover everywhere. If Putin wins in Ukraine, he will continue to other countries, and he will undermine the rule of law and democracy everywhere.
I apologize. I would like to step in and just to clarify shortly. I have been to Ukraine on February 3rd last year.
Okay.
But I am with Ukraine, and I feel like I'm not living here in the United States right now because most of the time I'm checking on Ukrainian news. And I'm with there on the phone with my friends, my family. And my heart is in Ukraine, as all of our hearts here.
Christina, Val, Sergey, I appreciate you coming in. Maybe we can come back a few weeks, have another discussion. And I know that I can't speak for all of West Virginia, but I know that the thoughts and prayers of West Virginians are with all of you during this difficult time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.